Yo, what up, a-holes? Thank you for tuning into the Holistic A-Hole podcast. My name is Erik Levi, and I'm the Holistic A-Hole, the mommy blogger with balls, the inconvenient truth of health. Thank you all for tuning in to yet another episode of the podcast, where it's going to be a doozy because it's election night here, and I'm sitting here watching on the edge of my seat as the numbers come in to abcnews.com. And as of right now, Republicans are leading the Democrats in the House, and I believe the Senate as well. So I wanted to talk about this election, and not like from a political standpoint of like I even know how this thing works to begin with. I will be fully transparent when I say I don't know how politics work. It's the most confusing field of, I guess, fucking news or labor or whatever politics is. It's like that's what's frustrating to me, is there's so much energy and, you know, attention paid to this thing, politics, and it's just really the art of trying to convince people of your beliefs, right? And then pretty much run, operate from that point forward. I don't know. I have no idea what politics is. Like, what purpose does it serve? You know, I get that we need elected officials. That's really the only way you live in a democratic society, or so they say. But this whole like idea of politics, the way it's played out like it is now, it's just like watching, you know, the lead up to these elections. It's just so crazy. Like when you see the political ads that come out, like Gillibrand wants rapists to walk out of jail tomorrow. If Kristen Gillibrand is elected, all the rapists will be on your streets, knocking on your door, asking if they come in your house and rape you. That's what kind of person Kristen Gillibrand is. Oh, and she wants to pour oil in baby dolphins' blowholes. That's what Kristen Gillibrand said on the nightly news with Tom Brokaw. It's just none of this. It's like this nonstop just river of just mind-numbing baloney. And the funny thing is that people get wrapped up in that. Like, people will go to work the next day and they'll be like, can you believe Kristen Gillibrand wants to pour oil in the blowholes of baby dolphins? And you'll be at work, listen to that person, and then you're going to also not raise your game and ask, well, why just baby dolphins? Why not full adult dolphins? Why not all the dolphins, Kristen Gillibrand? You know why? Because she works within a budget. Boom, bitch. That's why I would vote for Kristen Gillibrand. Maybe I did vote for her. I don't even know who she is. I don't even know if that's a real person, I just said. Because that's how useless these midterm elections are. We just got all hopped up for midterm, not presidential. Presidential, I get. Like, that's the Super Bowl, you know? And we only get it once every 4 years. And usually it's a pretty entertaining thing. And we just, you know, we just allow ourselves to get sucked into this. And in any other presidency, the midterm wouldn't be a thing at all. Nobody cares. Nobody knows who their representatives are. I don't know who I'm going to vote for comptroller. I looked at like what a comptroller is. I couldn't even get through it. I was like, this guy's probably the best of the best at comptrolling. So which one of these four can do it? Can a Republican be a better comptroller than a Democrat? I don't know. I don't know. What is that? What are they comp? Are they comp trolling? Are they controlling a comp of some sort? Are they trolling? I don't know what this profession is, comptroller. Yet I have to freaking, you know, research, I guess, like philosophical opinions that comptrollers should have. Attorney General? I mean, I know that's pretty important, but you know, the other ones, the House of Representatives, who do I want to represent? I don't know, man. Congress, Senate, you know, who knows? I don't care, dude. I don't care. Because these people, no matter who they are not going to do the thing that I feel that needs to be done in the country, you know? They're not going to, fix the healthcare system, because the healthcare system is inherently completely unfixable, especially with the kind of this weird political system that we have. We're really the only way that that these people will make a living, and not just like a living, but like a real nice living. We're talking Benzes and limos and private first class flights and all this stuff. It's like they just walk around and wave their hands at people and shake hands and ask people, what would you like to see done? And they don't do it. That's what every level of our government is. And it doesn't matter if it's Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green Party, Workers' Party, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. None of these people are going to change anything, man. And everywhere you go, it was like, this is the most important election of our lives. And you know what I think, dude? I think every election is probably the most important election of our lives. But yet, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't do anything. The system is so broken that it's not a political answer that we're looking for. It's a groundswell. It's a grassroots thing, and it'll hit hard. It'll hit fast. That's just how this shit works. It'll be somebody who invents something that will change everything. Google was changing things. Facebook was changing things. Tech is changing everything. AI, I mean, that's more important than comptroller. Please, dude. At some point, you understand, we're going to have AI that can be the comptroller. Because I don't know what that job does. Do you need to have like a free thinking brain, or is it just like you're just the person who's the top of the list of accounting spreadsheets or whatever? Are you just like straight up middle management? That's what I feel like comptroller is. We just need a goddamn president, vice president, the cabinet, and then like at a state level we need the representatives, house. We don't need that shit. We don't need it. We just need AI. That's all we need. Because I feel like if we, as the population that powers AI, it's machine learning, if it's collecting all our data, then AI, better than any politician, will know what we want. Because it'll know everything. It'll know where we go. It'll know our shopping habits. It'll know what we like to watch on TV, what we like to watch on Netflix, and we don't have to bullshit. We don't have to hide and lie and have this, ultra righteous dog whistling going on where it's like, if you don't support the Me Too movement, you're a rapist, and that you don't believe that. That you're a more reasonable person in your real life. It's just that you're on your phone all the time and you're scrolling through your Facebook feed and you feel a little FOMO. You've got some fear of missing out, that you're not contributing to the conversation. And the only way that people pay attention to your conversations online is you have to have some extreme opinion. The people who go on social media and go, good job, or they offer just nothing. They're just like, some just stupid, like, pat on the back, like I knew you could do it. It's like, no, those people get steamrolled. But then you come in with some super hard opinion about stuff. It's like, yeah, but you don't mean that. That's not how people are. The people who are like that are the ones you see on the videos who are like yelling at the sky and pounding on the door of the Supreme Court and like yelling and crying, and they go to these women's marches with the vagina hats, and they stand outside the Comedy Cellar with signs and protest Louis C.K. I get that those people are out there, and maybe that's like very like much a lot of women examples. Believe me, I know guys are just as guilty, if not more guilty, at this just stupid, insane behavior than women. In fact, these guys who are like the feminist dudes, they're the worst of the worst. So you're not like this because somehow you're making a living. You could not have gotten a job if you were this extreme and like this. You'd be mentally ill. There's just not enough time off in anybody's job to have time to be able to go to these marches and these parades and these, like just sit there on their phone. You would have gotten fired 100 times over, right? If this is how you really were. So you know, it's like people just are easily distracted. People are just, you know, hot under the collar, and they use this crap as a way of distracting from the real problems, dude. There's like real serious problems, man, that are happening. I mean, in the world, but even like in our neighborhoods, in our like lives with our families and stuff, you know? I mean, healthcare. Let's talk about healthcare. Let's talk about why healthcare is so expensive. You know why it's so expensive? Because the elected officials that we put in there allowed it to get as expensive as it is. They've got the food policy all messed up so that we're going to always need healthcare. We're always going to be, you know, nutrient and mineral deficient. People are always going to be getting sick. People are going to be running to get their flu shots, just injecting themselves with poison and then getting the flu and saying, well, that's part of the flu shot. And this stupid, you know, uneducated way of thinking about healthcare is just going to continue to go on and on because it's the real news, and this isn't what the stations that have the power to project these images and these stories, they don't talk about this. They talk about, you know, the freaking Me Too movement. You know, they talk about, oh, and by the way, that guy, Kavanaugh, who ran for Supreme Court, you know, most of his accusers, if there were two of the three of them came out with their stories being complete horse poo. It was all just a lie that they threw out there to just try to completely, and you know who I feel bad for? I don't feel bad for Kavanaugh. I don't feel bad for these girls. I feel bad for the good women in the world. The good women, you know who you are. You're listening to this podcast. You know who you are, right? You're getting your job done. You're raising your kids. You're being strong, independent. You're working. You're running businesses. You're working out. You're going to CrossFit. You're showing me up. You're fucking hang cleaning. 2 plates on each side, just throwing chalk everywhere, making me feel like an asshole with my little teeny nickel plates on each side of the bar. Yeah, I see you out there, strong women. Don't let these dumb whores that are going in and trying to ruin people's lives with sexual, you know, allegations, just the most, just insane, just fucking accusations. Sorry, I'm trying to curse less on this podcast. Just the most insane, stupid, I mean, completely unbelievable. And if you just looked at it with just a hint of scrutiny, you would have seen that the whole story of each one of these women was built on unicorn jizz. Nothing. Literally nothing. But yet everyone got themselves so wrapped up in saying, you know, making it a divisive issue where it's like if you had the nerve to question any of this, that you were, you know, you were just as guilty as the person on freaking death row, you know, who's murdered people. You know what I mean? It's like, and the midterm election is not going to stop that, you know? And I voted, man, and I'll tell you, I'll be honest, I'm not happy with my vote. I'm not. I don't feel like my vote is representative of me and of what I want, and that really sucks because I do believe in voting and democracy, and this is the best system, but it's so corrupt and it's so wrong. But you know, like you have to, like I was for a little while in this mindset of like, you know, I'm not going to vote because the whole system's bullshit. And, you know, what I find is that I do feel a little bit like a hypocrite to have the nerve to judge the system when I didn't do my part to actively participate, you know? And I also don't make a huge deal about it. It's like, we all know voting's bullshit. We do. It is. It's so, I think it's useful, it's meaningful, but come on, man. Like, everyone talks a big game about voting, but then so few people do it, right? Because we know that the system is so corrupt. You know, but I voted this time, and I voted for a very specific reason. I'm not going to say who I voted for, what I voted for. If you listen to this podcast enough, you could probably take some guesses as to how I voted. But at the same time, I will say I don't feel great about it. I don't. I did it because I know that if I didn't, that the amount of fuckery happening in government will be way more unlikable to me than the fuckery that'll happen had I voted the way I voted. But, you know, it's not at all, these people have any of my values, you know, that they're going to do anything. Like, I have any illusion that they're not also going to start taking money from the food companies and from big oil and from, you know, whoever's funding some study to make their product look good. You know, some probably terrorist organization. Who knows, you know? I have no illusions that that's not going to happen. But goddamn, like, just stop being so freaking distracted, you know? Let's just, like, not allow ourselves to get sucked into this hysteria that people are, you know, they live in. It's so dumb. It really is. And, hey, man, you know, the truth is people are freaking dying. And people are getting really sick. And it's just going to keep happening and happening because nobody's fixing the food supply. Nobody is, you know, stopping the production of high fructose corn syrup. More and more glyphosate is getting sprayed on crops. Organic's there, but organic is, you know, lawfully a giant hoax, a giant lie, a huge ripoff. You know, corn is in everything. People are going to continue to die of diabetes. Oh, and, you know, genetic motility, one of the two, where the next generations of our shit generation of people, you know, look, I mean, let's be honest. The generations now of the population is you have the people who are going to survive 2 generations from now and the people who aren't. And the people who aren't are... honestly, you're digging your family name's grave right now with just eating, you know, just justifying like eating fried garbage and not getting sleep and, you know, using just too much alcohol and too many drugs and prescription drugs and these psychoactive drugs. And, you know, it's great that it's not hurting us, but it is hurting your kids and your grandkids. And it's Pottinger's cats, baby. It's going to come to a crashing halt. And you can see it already. It's already happening. The numbers are already there. The diabetes, the heart... we should not be dying of heart disease or diabetes. We should not. Not in America. Definitely not in America. Not with all the money we've got in this country. Not with all the, you know, access to healthcare. Even if you can't afford it, you have access to it. All the free information of, you know, podcasts like The Holistic A-Hole, people should not be getting these diseases, but they are. And guess who does not talk about it? The news. Oh, but they get you fired up for, you know, Marco Rubio, who doesn't even know what he wants. One minute he hates Trump, the next minute he loves Trump. That's all these guys are, dude. And women. And now, I guess, both. Because there's, I think, you know, transsexual people running for office. Yeah, man. I have more to say about this, but I don't feel like it would be productive to the conversation and to the feelings of the country. I also have a really good feeling that things are not going to turn out the way that the news has just been predicting it's going to turn out. But I'm sitting here right now, and I'll give you an update on the score because I'm watching live. It's gonna be fun to look back on this. I could have just waited till tomorrow to do this, so I'll have the results and say, you know, hey, look at this shit. But I'm impatient. So as of right now that I'm looking at this, looks like the Republicans are winning. Not by a huge margin. I don't know what a huge margin is in politics, but it looks like the Republicans are winning the House and the Senate still. So, yeah, I hope you got to go out and vote and exercise your freedom that people have died for. And, you know, that has been completely corrupted, that more people are going to die because of it. But at least you spent the afternoon with me. I am truly grateful for you. I am going back to the usual format of the podcast, so there will be 2 every week. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Keep your eyes open and ears open for the next one, and I'll catch you there. Peace.